All right, we're going to do a little bit of translating from English to algebra. If I say a number is 7, how would I translate that to algebra? A number is 7. X equals 7. What about if I said this? What about if it wasn't just one answer, but a whole bunch of answers? A number is less than 7. No, we're gonna use X and 7, but we're gonna use a different symbol.
Oh, well, did we like that?
Which one is it? You guys are on the right track.
One. Yeah, would it be good?
Yeah. Like this?
No.
The other way. Really?
Wait, no.
X is less than 7. If it's less than, the point goes to the left. The wide part opens right. X is more than 7.
It's the same thing, but facing another way.
This one you may not know. X is at most 7.
Yeah.
Now you guys do know. At most 7. So which way?
Greater one.
The greater one? At most 7. If it's at most 7, it can't be bigger. It's got to be 7 or less. So it's got to be this. And the final one, if I said at least 7, that means it can be 7 or greater. Okay, and what do we refer to these symbols as? Well, they're called inequalities. Okay, this is an equality because it has an equation. This is an inequality. There are 4 examples. So going back to here, an inequality is used when we want to show a solution is a span of numbers. And what I mean by span is a whole bunch. So you guys are used to solving equations where there was one answer. Okay? But that may not be the case all the time. Sometimes there may be more than one answer. All the numbers below a certain number, all the numbers above a certain number, all the numbers the same or below a certain number, or all the numbers above or the same as a certain number. That's what I mean by a span. A span is a whole bunch of numbers. And you guys just did the inequalities. So this one, less than. This one, greater than. This one, less than or equal to. And this one, greater than or equal to.
So it's equal to like
Okay. Don't worry, we'll just some examples.
Like if it's equal to, then you have to just like
Put an equal sign.
yeah.
But if it's less than or equal to, that's something different. That means it could be equal or less than, which is why we combine these 2 signs. It's like a less than and half an equal sign. No. So for example, just what we were talking about. Here's an example of an equation. X equals 5. And here's an example of an inequality. How many solutions does this have? 1. It's 5. How many solutions does this one have?
4.
If it's bigger than 5, how many numbers are there bigger than 5?
A lot.
And what's the word we use for a lot? Infinite, infinity. So what? How many solutions are there to here? Infinite solutions. 6, 7, 8, 9. A quadrillion and 1. There's a whole bunch of them. So just like we talked about how to solve equations, we're going to do how to solve inequalities. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of work just so that we understand how to use inequalities. So here we have 4 situations. I want you to convert these to inequalities. So contest entrants, that's the unknown. We don't know how many there are, but we do know that it must be 18 years old, at least 18 years old, pardon me. So what letter do you want to give contest entrants? X, sure, or you call it C. But you call it X.
Like greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to 18. Because at least 18 means it's equal and greater than. So that's why we use greater than or equal to. The temperature, so temperature is the unknown. Let's call it T. Has been below -5 degrees Celsius. How would I convert that to an inequality?
Less than.
Right. Good. You must have 7 items or less to use the express checkout line at the grocery store.
You could do X less than or equal to 7 items.
Yeah, we're just 7. We don't put, we don't need to put any words in. Finally, scientists have identified over 400 species of dinosaurs. Well, let's use D this time for dinosaurs. They've identified over 400.
Is it X less than or equal to? Or,
Over,
oh, greater than or equal to.
but it doesn't say over than or equal to. It just says it has to be over 400. So wouldn't it be D greater than 400, not or equal to? If it said 400 or greater, then you would use the or equal to. Okay? Next. These are yes/no questions. So we're given an inequality, B, some number B, is greater than or equal to 4, -4. Which one of these are greater than or equal to -4, and which ones are less? So is this greater than or equal to -4? No, it's smaller. So it's not part of the inequality. What about this one? Yes. This one? Yes, because it's or equal to. This one? No, it's smaller. And this one? Yes. Okay, good. So one way to show inequalities is using those symbols. There is another way to show inequalities, and it's visual. And we call it graphing line or number line notation. Okay? So if I have an inequality, let's say x less than or equal to 5. That's set notation. These symbols, when you see one of those 4 symbols, that's set notation. How do I convert this to number line? How do I make this look on a number line? This, I'm pretty sure you have not seen. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to put 5 on the number line. So where are we going to put 5? Well, let's put 0 first. So let's put 0 over here for this notch, because we know 5 is going to be to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I want to show all the numbers less than or equal to 5. So I'm going to start at 5. Do I include 5 as part of my span? Yes. If I include it, I put a filled-in circle. And if everything less than is less than to the left on 5 or to the right? To the left. So I draw a thick arrow to the left. That's it. So, and I'm just going to add one here, just before we start doing some examples. What if I did x greater than or equal to 5? Or greater than 5? So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 notches. I need a reference point of 0, a reference number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is out here. Yes. I start at 5 again. Do I include 5? No, because it does not say or equal to. So if you do not include where you start, put an open circle or a hollow circle. Filled in means you include it. Hollow means, or open means you don't. And am I going to draw my arrow to the right of this circle or to the left?
Right.
Greater than 5 means I gotta go this way. Okay. Okay, now let's look at some. So we got to do number lines for these. Well, we can save ourselves some time. You only need to do, when you do these things, you only need to do 2 notches on your number line. Where 0 is and where the number is, you're going to put your circle. So, which one of these would be 0? The one on the right or the one on the left? Is -5 to the left of 0 or to the right? Yeah, got it. So you can just do that. And notice we already did this one on the previous page. I didn't mean to. Just coincidence. Start at -5. Hollow or filled in? Hollow, because there's no or equal to. Right or left? Because it's greater than. Here's a little hint. Notice the arrowhead is the same as the arrowhead here. So if it's less than, you know the arrowhead's going to go that way. If it's greater than, you know it's going to go that way. Don't get thrown by this one. It's just written in the reverse order. This is the same as this. If you rewrite it, it's x less than or equal to -2. So we have this. Where does 0 go? Where does -2 go? -2 goes on the left, 0 goes on the right. Well, first of all, my circle filled in, and then it goes to the left because the arrowhead's going that way. Done. This one again, if it's written this way, just reverse it. If 0.5 is less than or equal to a, then a is greater than or equal to 0.5. Draw your number line. Where does 0 and 0.5 go? Like this. Greater than or equal to. Filled in or hollow? Filled in because it's or equal to. And then the arrowhead goes to the right. And then finally this one. Don't get thrown just because it's a negative fraction. Well, if it's negative, 0 is going to go on the right. The negative fraction is going to go on the left. What kind of circle? Hollow or open? And left or right? Left, because it's less than. Yes.
Isn't it always true that less than is greater than?
Yes. Yes. And then the final example we're going to look at, yeah.
I remember when you were doing the first one, like the symbol is the one side that goes to that side. But in the last question, you know.
No,
Oh, okay, sorry.
matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, what if we were asked to go the other way? So you're given the number line. So all of these are going to start with x. The question is, what inequality symbol? And then the number. So where does this start? This one. At -3. And what's the symbol that goes in between them? Greater than. And notice the arrowheads match up again. So all you have to do when you convert from graphing or number line notation to set notation, write x, write the number on the number line, and then figure out the inequality. Which one would this be? Less than or equal to because it's filled in. This one's -2. Sadie? Less than. This one's 5.
Greater? Equal.
Greater than
Or equal.
or equal. And then finally this one's 0. Greater than because there's a hollow circle. Okay. So the next step with these inequalities, we're going to learn how to solve them like we learned how to solve equations. It's very similar. Okay, it's really not that different.